what I'm doing is being creative
Mm-hmm.
to develop this idea. So I'm using all gifts God gave me from sales perspective, business consultancy, everything I'm using now to help make this idea grow. You can use everything God gave you, maybe give you influence, network, resource, money, time, health. Use that and use that idea you saw and replicate in your area.
Well, hello and welcome back to the podcast. And I'm excited today. I have a special guest. This is going to be the first episode where we're actually going cross-continent. That's really exciting to me. I met this individual actually in a faith-driven entrepreneur group. Really like him. He's doing some fantastic things, big things, by the way, in Brazil. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about that as we go. And I asked him some of the questions, but really impressed by the work that God is having him do. And I wanted to have the opportunity for him to share with you today, because like we've said on this Audacious Faith podcast, hey, it doesn't matter whether or not it seems like it's something that's doable or not. Big things, God can do huge things. If you can put it in your mind, God is more than capable of doing that and much, much more. And this individual is being involved right in the front lines of doing that. So I'm happy to have him with me today, Felipe, Portugal. Very, very happy to have you. And why don't you kind of start off right off the bat and tell us a little bit about yourself, family, background, and maybe that journey of how you came to faith.
Okay, thank you very much, Jay, for the introduction. I'm so glad that it's a privilege to be the first outside guy from the US to talk with you guys. Well, I'm the fourth generation Presbyterian Christian evangelical in Brazil. My dad was a business consultant and a pastor too. I was raised in a big family. We were 9 brothers.
Nice.
It's not very common here too. It's just like,
Uh-huh.
and we are all believers. And today I have my family, have 3 kids, and we are all Christian. So it's a blessing to do what we do in the name of Jesus.
Amen. So this was kind of just a way of life for you guys and your whole family. You said your father was both a pastor and a business person. And I'm wondering how much, I mean, since you mentioned that, how much influence did that have on you? Because I know you're a business person and you have a lot of business know-how which you're using, but at the same time you're using it for ministry and for God's glory. So did that kind of like get impressed in your heart from a very early age then?
Definitely, yeah. He was very impressive man, very creative, and he found time to raise 9 kids and do ministry and do his work, leading people to Christ as a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And so definitely we have that challenge, big steps, big foot to steps to follow, right? And that's true.
So a great example. And where did you fall? You said 9 kids. Where did you fall in the order? Were you towards the oldest, the youngest?
I'm in the middle between the 4th and 5th because I have a twin brother too. I used to say he's the only good-looking guy in the world because he's just like me.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. So we are 6 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay. So what you're telling us then is when God made you, he made you so good looking that he decided to make someone else just that looked pretty much like you.
Yes, yes, it was a good set. I doubled that.
There you go. There you go. So your background in business, even though you're doing ministry with it, why don't you fill us in a little bit? What's your business background? What have you been involved with?
Well, I always worked with my father. He had a consultancy business, right? So we
Mhm.
we worked with him, and then I studied business administration, and I could work in some companies, multinational companies too.
Mhm.
That gave me a lot of business background, and then we tried, like many people, small businesses, some ideas. Sometimes it didn't go much well, but you learn a lot. You learn
Mhm.
from your mistakes. You learn what skills you need to develop.
Yes.
And in between, I learned about this ministry while I was working in the US in a work and travel program.
Mhm.
I could learn about the the OCC, right, from Samaritan Spurs.
Okay.
So, and all this background, as working as an executive or trying to run my own business. I try to run my own travel agents too.
Mhm.
So many things that build my background, my knowledge in business. That it's key today to run a ministry, even
Yes.
an evangelistic ministry. You need to use those skills to reach people, reach new partners, to be more uh, to reach out to more people.
I love what you're saying. And we've seen similar themes in many of the other podcasts and guests that I've had, where people have had various experiences. You mentioned, Felipe, about how, some things worked, some things didn't work. But have you found that even the things that didn't work were still a part of learning for something you needed for the future? God just kind of takes all those pieces, doesn't he? And puts them together in a big puzzle.
Yes, definitely. Sometimes you want things um, go faster, and then you're in a learning process, and then later you see, thank you God, that I'm doing this right now after get this experience, because otherwise I would be very disappointed. So it's a journey that you learn, and we gotta believe that all has uh, purpose, right, for your life, and it's all gifts from God, I guess, those experiences, right?
Yeah, it's really not. I think some people look at it as things that failed, but really it's just more of lessons learned. I would think when you put it all together, right? So
Hmm.
okay, so you have this business background, but now I'm going to let you share a little bit about your ministry. You mentioned OCC, Operation Christmas Child, and that model, which is going to many places around the world. But you saw a way, due to some of the limitations because of being in a different country and different continent, you've kind of seen a way how to make, using that same concept, but be a little bit more effective for your particular area, your particular country, right? So why don't you fill us in a little bit, because I love what you're doing. Um, kind of, you've taken on quite a bit here, and you're expanding it. So share a little bit about how that came about, and kind of what your vision is here.
Well, for regular business, they don't have much problems, especially startups thinking big, thinking
Hmm.
like we're gonna run this business in the US, and next we're gonna go overseas. We just change the language and little some setups or customization and go. Ministries, they take longer to do that. So there is you guys, or maybe South Korea, for example, you guys have so many good, well done, well set ministries that would work really well in many, many countries. But sometimes they see those ministries as a like we're gonna reach those countries instead of develop an office in those countries. This looks like simple. So what happened? I was in the U.S. I lived in Colorado, and then I moved to Massachusetts. So I had a chance to see, attending a church, the Operation Christmas Child. So I packed my shoebox there. It was like, this is a great idea. And then when I moved back to Brazil, I was like, I got married. I was unemployed. I just arrived back to Brazil. So I decided to live nearby my church. And then I did a kind of short-term seminar. And I had to come up with a gift or evangelistic idea. So I was like, I came up with 3 ideas. One of them was like the shoebox. I said, that could work here in Brazil. Why not?
Okay.
So after that, I decided to ask my pastor, was like, man, this could work here. Let's try. And it worked really well. And then I realized that the schools, the church here are getting involved in a way just like you guys do. You know, like maybe 0.5%, 50% in a church pack shoebox. Same levels here.
Okay.
And then I realized I had to do the whole process. So I had to find leaders, get shoeboxes, process them, and then ship them in Brazil.
Okay.
And then I found a lot of transportation companies that would ship for me for free because they love the project.
Nice.
So I don't pay shipping.
Okay.
I don't pay customs.
Okay.
I tell them to pack shoe boxes accordingly to our climate, our weather, according to the needs the kids have here. They buy Christian literature in our own language. So I can tell on and on benefits to develop this ministry.
Okay.
In one end, and then other end, there's so many people in church. You know that maybe they don't have a gift to sing, they don't have a gift to teach, but they have the heart for this ministry.
Yes.
Same thing here. So there's so many people looking for a ministry like that. So I feel the gap. I'm feeling the gap, but it takes a lot of work to build the whole Samaritan's Purse or Operation Christmas Child ministry here. As I said, I'm not the Graham family yet. So takes me a little bit more efforts to reach out to people to get involved.
But I love the fact that you saw a need and you saw what seemed to be a more effective way within your country to maximize that need. You mentioned to me before this podcast, you've mentioned that even as many shoe boxes that are going around the world, let's face it, we're still reaching, what percentage did you say of children that are?
1 or 2, yes. There is 1 billion children today. And let's face it, Samaritan's Purse, they're doing a great job. But that is just 10 million. I mean, looking for the whole thing. So the only way we can reach out more children and develop Christians, teach them in a hands-on way to do mission, write a letter for a kid and be generous. It is sending helping them to start this ministry in every country. I lived in Argentina for 7 years. My wife is
Okay.
from Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said in the beginning, I don't know why I was in Argentina. I learned Spanish. I met so many people from South America that speaks Portuguese, every country. But
Yeah.
I believe God was preparing me for as soon as the office in Brazil, it is like well set. My first thing is I'm not gonna send boxes. I have sent to Bolivia because one missionary said, Felipe, can I cross the board and send some shoe boxes to that country? I have it on both sides
Mm-hmm.
churches. I said, no problem. But my goal is not send boxes to Bolivia. Even I'm close. It's just one board. I want to develop this ministry in Bolivia. I want to develop this ministry in Argentina because there are many Christians that can give, that are
Yes.
willing to give. So this way we can take care more about South America and let you guys go to other countries that need most. We need shoe boxes too, but we have 40 million evangelicals in Brazil right now and 150 million Catholics. So they all can pack shoe boxes. We can take care
Sure.
of Brazil. So that's just one idea. Maybe I've seen so many other ministries in the US, really cool, really nice, that we could bring
Mm-hmm.
here too. But we love shoeboxes, right?
I love the fact that God put it in your heart. You saw a way to do it. And instead of having to try to wait for resources from somewhere else, you're seeing the ability within the country to do it. Now you're mentioning Bolivia as well. I mean, that's really the concept of just multiplying, right? Multiplying the work,
Exactly.
multiplying what does the word say? It says the harvest is there, but pray the Lord of the harvest to send forth laborers. So you're developing laborers in the different countries to do that work instead of just from the existing sources that are already out there. So I love it. I love what you're doing and how
Yeah.
God is leading you on that. Um, let me ask you this in relation to that. Um, so many of the countries you've just mentioned is actually they receive their gifts from outside the country, and you're maximizing in. So we're just talking about that right now. What are some of the biggest challenges though? Because there may be some people out there that want to help, even with resources, because you are doing a good work there, reaching kids with the gospel, with the truth. So what are some of the biggest challenges and needs of your ministry currently?
Uh, my main challenge it is shoebox, for example, is well known in the US.
Yes.
So you know a lot of things about it. A lot of people know how to reach out to churches, how to find leaders, how to pack shoeboxes and things. I don't have that here.
Okay.
So for me, it's hard to learn more about the ministry, and sometimes I get in touch with people and ask some tips and advices. How do you do this and that? But they're
Okay.
like, "Who is this guy from South America, right?"
Yeah.
Uh, and I tell them, "Look, we have a lot of potential here in Brazil. There is this new model that we developed, packaged shoeboxes. Is a great idea too. The
Mhm.
way we can reach out to the other hundreds of million children." And they're like, "Yeah, okay, but you know, I don't know you, and I work for Samaritan's Purse, so I'm just a volunteer." On
Yeah.
the other hand, my challenge is like I tell people the idea here, and they're like, well, okay, that could work. Let's see. So they don't know how good this idea is. So it's I'm growing really slowly, steady but slowly, and those are my challenges. Right today,
Okay.
I get so many boxes or help or donations from the corporate world more than churches, because I came from the business as a businessman. So it's easier for me to tell them, look, they see as a social environment help.
Right.
So they are ready to tell their employees, hey, let's pack shoebox or let's donate him. We have an extra, toys or extra toothpaste or something like that.
Hmm.
We get, and then we end up packing more shoe boxes. So my challenges are today is it is infrastructure, right? I need more space. I need more people. It's back office, because I have many volunteers willing to work, many companies willing to donate, and I have a place to to store those donations, because when they donate like a full truck. And I do have a lot of challenges in this area. So the main thing is to have some friends in the US to believe that we're doing a good job. The idea makes sense. Like,
Hmm.
we're the second largest evangelical country. We are almost like you guys, just behind. It's a good place to start, a good country to start, and so that's my main challenge. You got this um, so you guys can get this trust from you guys, and
Hmm.
get people here to believe in the idea. They know me, but they don't know the idea.
So it sounds to me, let me see if I'm hearing you and understanding you correctly. Um, you seem to have some of the opposite situation of what's mostly happening here in the United States. In the United States, so the good majority of the support for, say, shoeboxes comes from churches and ministries, and not as much from corporations, from companies. They are always trying to like stay hands off, of religious, spiritual type of things. You seem to have the opposite there. So the biggest prayer request and need is for the churches to understand what this is, catch the vision, and have churches having ministry teams built within the churches themselves that say, hey, this is a mission, this is a ministry, this is what we can do together, right? Does that seem to be, am I understanding that right?
It is. You guys have one thing really beautiful, that is, you feel like God has been blessing the US for so many years, that you have like this duty to help other countries.
Okay.
So I heard that today you're still helping so many countries. Maybe we're having much more problems inside today, and you're still looking outside. That is awesome. You need to look out inside a little bit more now.
I agree.
Take
I
care of
agree.
your new generation. Take care of them. But
Hmm.
uh, we have the opposite here too. We received missionaries.
Hmm.
They taught our church to how to be disciples, how to learn about the Bible, but we stay there. So we need to and go outside and give what we received. So it's hard to tell people, look, we are we have 150 years now of history. A lot of American missionaries came.
Hmm.
So it's time for us to do more, to donate more, and it's really hard to get churches to talk with each other, to get together, and when they see a good idea, say, look, this is a great idea that works better from an independent organization. Let's be partners it is really hard to be partners. So sometimes that happens in the US too. I heard that it's really hard for OCC to get big churches as partners because they have like, if we're gonna do, we're gonna do our own way. We're gonna bring inside, and we're
Right.
gonna send. So that happens in Brazil, but in most all levels. Small churches, no, small churches are awesome. They see, I love
Mhm.
this ministry. I will be more relevant in my area, and you guys do all the logistics, and you come here, pick up the shoebox, and you send to really poor kids
Right.
far away in Brazil. They love, but mid-sized and large churches, we have this challenge.
Hmm.
That's the main thing. That was like a cultural thing. It's hard to break it.
It really is, and you're summarizing it very well, actually. I mean, that is the challenge here. And churches, for some reason, you would think the family of God would work together better. But I think that's one of our biggest shortcomings, probably worldwide, is, well, at least to what I know, in my limited scope of where I've been, is that, yeah, it would be so much better if the children of God would learn to work together. It's not a competition. We're all doing the same thing, right? We're going for the same goal, and that's to reach people with the gospel. So, so if people are wanting to help you, say now, I mean, obviously prayer would be one of the key thing, but beyond that, are there specific ways, if the Lord's laying on somebody's heart, are there specific things that could really help you the most at this point?
Well, there are a couple of things they can do if they know a little bit, if they have some experience with OCC Samaritan Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Just reach out. We may have a Zoom and talk. And we share. I need encouragement. My team, my small team, need encouragement. Some ideas. So and prayers. That will make a lot of difference because it's really hard to get most things I learned was with one-on-one talk and going to their websites, but one-on-one talk saved me so much trouble, so much time.
Sure.
So if they're listening now, if it makes sense for them, like, look, this guy, he needs some support, some help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna reach out to him and say, look, in my church we do this, in my community we do that. We have these ideas. I have new ideas too. I can share. We have a new event we call, for example, shoebox race. It's really cool. You guys
Right.
have the soapbox race, right?
Okay.
So we come up with the shoebox race.
So are you putting wheels on shoe boxes or what?
Now everyone has to wear helmets, and their helmets there's a shoebox in the helmet.
Oh, nice.
It's just a way to spread the word, and we are talking with credit card companies that have the loyalty program, so they can have. We have our online shoebox as well.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can do one if you want to. Is we check out with PayPal is really safe,
Okay.
but we are trying to get these loyalty companies to you can trade your points to an online shoebox, and you can have a voucher
That's very creative. I like that.
Yes, we have some ideas we can exchange.
Yeah, I
If you
definitely
guys want to come to Brazil and see me, you'll be more than glad to show what we're doing here. So I think what people can do is like reach out. Let's talk. Follow us on Instagram, but reach out to talk, share, encourage, understand. That's what I really need to like be encouraged by you guys, learn, and so because this run a ministry is not easy. It has so many challenges, spiritual challenges, and everything.
Mm-hmm. We're going to definitely at the end of this podcast, I'm going to have you lay out specifically contact information so that people can get in touch with you if they would like to do that. So what are some of the goals that maybe God has put in your heart? I know God lays out vision and goals kind of in steps at times. You've been expanding this, and what is it that you'd like to see maybe that he's put on your heart in, say, the next 3 to 5 years? Is there something there?
Definitely. I'm working harder, trying to develop new leaders, local church leaders in small church. Actually, my state first, because we need to develop the drop-off collection. So I have partners that go in all those churches picking up boxes to bring, so we can process in the end and then ship. So this is my main thing now. It is develop this network, the local leaders. My challenges are how to keep them motivated. Do I need to send them a T-shirt or something? How you guys do? I'm running from.
There's different ways. There's the shirts. There's the videos. There's the different events. There's what they call celebration events and kickoff events. Yeah, there's different ways to do it. But so you're definitely, your goal right now is the multiplying of yourself for this ministry.
Exactly. In church, yeah, in the church, the Christian environment. Because if you go to my website, you're gonna see so many multinational companies doing, and I mentioned that with one guy that helped Samaritan Spurs to grow. And he was like, how did you do that? So, because this is evangelical ministry, right?
Sure.
Is one side of your mouth saying something and the other side saying another thing? I said, I promised them that I'm sending boxes to poor kids in the poorest areas in Brazil. And I'm doing that. On my end, I'm sending Bibles. I'm sending them we always send to missionaries or churches.
Okay.
And in poor areas. So my goal is don't have only companies. Is have more churches. We have 200,000 churches in Brazil. There is plenty. I'm growing on business because for me now it's easier, and they love it because we have the online option for them. They need to do something. Many people were doing home office, so they could pack an online shoebox. They were so glad. But I want to grow in church, in the church ministry, in the church area more.
Yes,
it makes more sense, right?
Absolutely. I think that's where your greatest growth will be as you get that moving. So nice. Okay, so maybe there's somebody out there, Felipe, who, still searching for their place of impact. I mean, and I think that's what I really love about this type of ministry, because there's so many ministries that require certain skill sets and maybe a certain background or a certain education. But in this case, and I'm sure it's the same there in Brazil, this is something that a child can do. This is something that an elderly person can do, and anywhere in between. And, maybe there's people maybe they have faith, but they're still looking for that place of significance. How is my life, everything that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, having a huge impact? So how do you see that fitting for what it is that you're doing, and what do you want to say to them right now, if maybe they're listening and they're looking for that?
Yes, I learned about the shoebox idea like 15 years ago, and all I do is I'm not very creative, but what I'm doing is being creative to develop this idea. So I'm using all gifts God gave me, from sales perspective, business consultancy, everything I'm using now to help make this idea grow. Maybe God give you a good idea from the scratch or not. Maybe you saw a good idea that's not in your area. There's no problem when you do the same idea. So you don't need to be that 100% original, right?
Yeah.
But you can use everything God gave you. Maybe give you influence, network, resource, money, time, health. Use that and use that idea you saw and replicate in your area. Since I'm doing the shoebox, so many ideas I see now. I could bring that one day. I have so many ideas on my draw now. It's like I didn't give up on that. I'm just like, and I'm thinking, I'm learning the process. I'm gonna apply that with this idea in next year maybe.
Okay.
So as soon as the shoebox, I will be bring this new one and this new one. So that's the main thing. If you're looking for, uh, use what you have to try to replicate some idea, try to replicate a ministry. There's so many things you can do right now. And maybe you develop, you're going to develop new skills, and then a new project will come. So then you can give that, you develop a leader to run that, and you start this new ministry. So you will be multiplying your gifts, like the talent that God gave you, you multiply. So it sounds simple, and it is, but it takes a little time, but a little effort, but you can do much more.
Amen. Amen. I love it. Well, let's do this. I've so much appreciated your time and your input, and I'm very inspired by what you're doing. I want other people to be able to connect to you. So maybe lay out there what are the best, easiest ways for them to make contact with you?
Well, let's say we have the thing is everything is in Portuguese, but you can find us on Instagram. Maybe you can help us with our Instagram link, and you can go to our website, and you have the contact, because it's hard for you. It's info.projetocaixadesapato.org, but it's a shoebox project in Portuguese. But you can go to our LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or our webpage. You have a contact information, and then you can find us and send an email or a message. We can schedule a quick Zoom to tell a little bit more things about the project. And yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So what I'm going to try to do, I will have my producer that puts this out. I'll have him put a couple of those links, especially on YouTube, right down in the description. So for all of you that are watching this, make sure you kind of look down there for it. And if for some reason you don't find it, send me a message at jgauthiersenior@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to get you in contact with Felipe. Anything you want to add, Felipe, as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Jay, for your friendship and your communication. I learned a lot from you. I watch your videos, and our meetings is so much fun. I hope we can have more conversations about it. We both love this ministry. I think God has many things we can do together.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. We are definitely going to stay in contact. This is just the beginning, right? This is the beginning. So may the Lord bless you and all those working with you, and may he multiply your work, because I know where your heart is, and I know that he's going to definitely, he's going to do, you're doing the things you can, and then he's going to do the things that we can't as humans do. He does the miracles, right? So Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I encourage each one of you to reach out to him. Also, if you've not been following this podcast, we encourage you to become a subscriber to that by clicking the little subscribe button, and we will keep you apprised of all the great happenings and great people that we have a chance to come in contact with, just like Felipe with the great work that he's doing. So God bless each one of you. This has been the Audacious Faith Podcast. Take care now.
Bye-bye.